What a year, man. But hey, everybody, Micah here, and what I'm going to do real quick, because I'm not quite sure if to be honest with you, the Gundam Seed Destiny review probably not going to get done by the end of the year. So I figured what I do to kind of make this my last video of the year is to record a quick vlog about just summing up the year, my feelings on it, and talking about in a lot of ways how a bad year has oddly enough kind of reinvigorated me in a lot of ways. So let's kind of recap what happened this year. This year, content wise, saw a shift from me. We're about halfway through the year. I just said to myself that I was fed up with doing the constant videos about whatever drama was going on in the world. I wanted to go back to doing reviews because that's how I started all of this, was with reviews of comics and things of that nature. And I always had a lot of fun doing that. And things shifted, and shifting back, I've noticed has sort of been a bit of a boon in a lot of ways. But with shifting away from the constant culture commentary, which I'm just done with doing, it's just not fun, to be honest with you. It's not fun to do, so I'm just not going to do it. I'll leave that to other people who enjoy it. But the big thing for me has been kind of dealing with a lot of nonsense, and it's been difficult. So let's kind of roll through what the rough stuff was. First one was, had a lot of really stupid drama with friends of mine. Some of the people that caused problems for me, I just, I'm honestly glad that they're not in my life anymore. Because one thing that I realized after handling all of it, I realized that if they had been around me as all this bad stuff had been happening to me, they would have only made the situation worse. So, in a lot of ways, I kind of lucked out. But, that was a rough thing. And we'll go into details on how that got handled. But, y'all have seen publicly how people have tried to fuck with me over the last year. Thankfully, none of them were successful, but oddly enough, as that happened, something better came out of it. The second thing has been the absolute insanity with crowdfunding. Not only having issues with trying to get Inglewood ready to go, trying to keep production up on 3 nights and all this other stuff, also taking on the burden of trying to finish the Peregrine fulfillment, which I'm glad that, we were actually able to do this year. So that's done. We're already talking about the next couple of books for that character. But the other insanity with crowdfunding is that the PayPal account that Hatman transferred our money to while we were setting up a new bank account got hacked. So all of that money that was in there, that was for the 3 nights production, that was for filling Inglewood Book 2, and was for printing and fulfilling my novella, was taken by a fraudster, basically. Now, we're going to get it back. We're actually able to get it back. Like, the good thing, the funny thing about it is, because it was a hacker who did it, instead of PayPal fucking with us, or just to do it, or something like that, which is what we initially thought was happening. We thought it was PayPal's fault, and we were completely wrong, which that was my fault for assuming. So I can't apologize enough for that. Like, I feel awful about it. But the good news is that because it's as simple as a hacker, and it's as simple as fraud, there are things that can be done to make things better. And I apologize for wiping my lip constantly. I have something in the oven that I'm smelling, and it's making my mouth water. I'm doing some Christmas baking. So, regardless, though, on top of that, like, this was the year of hackers, apparently. But there's one thing that I'm hearing a lot of is there's been a lot of data breaches this year and things like that. And there's a reason that you're seeing more and more advertisements where companies are basically saying, we really need cybersecurity people. And why I have a feeling that's going to be the next like thing where there's going to be more online trade schools, because they're already starting to open specifically devoted to that. But that's a whole nother thing. This is a neat thing that I looked into. So I guess if you're wanting to get trained for a trade that's digital, there you go. Cybersecurity, work from home the rest of your life. But anyway, as it stands, the other hacking thing that happened was the YouTube channel got hacked. And it got hacked by a crypto bro. And when the crypto bro hacked it, I lost a ton of subscribers. And I didn't know if I was going to get it back. Then when I did get the channel back, YouTube actually got it back for me very quickly. Then when I got it back, the channel got demonetized. And I had to raise a stink on email, and then they dismissed it. And then I had to raise a stink on social media, on Twitter, now X, you know. And it was at that point that they finally looked into it, and they're like, oh, no, you're right. This, you know, we were wrong here. So that was stressful. But it was a lot this year. And a lot of that also had to do with the fact that, like, I'd been holding my tongue on some of the drama stuff because I had agreed to. And I was holding in a lot of pain and anger. And, like, for the first 6 months of the year, I was just this bitter, like, I don't know if you could tell it on the outside. I was just bitter and angry all the fucking time. And I hated it. I think, like, that's why I'm frowning so much. I hate that I was that way. Because thinking about it puts a foul taste in my mouth. And even with the smell of baking food in the background. But the funny thing about all of it is that there are good things that have come out of this. So, despite the issues with friends that I had, all of that is in the past. It's buried. I don't have to worry about it. From what I can tell, they have their own problems to deal with. So, and I've said everything that needs to be said, and really there's nothing else to be said on it. I don't really think that they're going to cause any more problems for me. At least nothing that cannot be solved swiftly. And the funny thing about it is that in dealing with that and the things that came with it, it's better to be in situations, honestly, even with people you don't like. There's just, you go over there, do your thing. I go over here, do my thing. Ne'er the two shall ever meet. That, I think, is the best arrangement for everybody whenever you have issues with people. Just stay away from them. And that's what I plan on doing. The only reason that I mention it is just I'm wrapping the year up. So, in dealing with that, in dealing with issues that came with the Peregrine campaign, what ended up happening was Grindstone Arts got founded. Now, we had been talking, me and other people had been talking about creating this new company. A publishing house that published everything. That published graphic novels primarily, comic books, but would also do novellas and things of that nature that were tied in to those visual things. So there could be basically this umbrella of neat things that this company would provide, you know, in honestly an era where storytelling is kind of at its weakest, I think, across all mediums. It doesn't matter east or west. You know, I think I legitimately do believe it's at its weakest now than it has been in any time of my life. And the big thing for me is, you know, I got to get together with like-minded people that I trust, and that though they are friends, they're friends I can work with. And that's the tricky part. Is it's hard to find friends that are willing to look at you in a business method. And I'm lucky that I have a few. So, Grindstone Arts is, of course, co-owned by myself. I am the CEO and president. And then my vice president of operations, Hatman, Alex Baldwin, he and I own the business. We've been business partners since I started this channel, really. And we do everything business-wise together. And I see no reason to ever change it. If I ever find myself investing in companies and things of that nature, I'm going to make sure he's right there with me in one way or another. And I have a lot of plans for my future and how I want things to go. And I couldn't ask for a better business partner, honestly. And I want, working with him and having him as such a good friend has enriched my life in a lot of ways. And I couldn't ask for a better cohort in this. He really is, Hatman's the best. Like, I do the whole shame the Hatman, everybody shame the Hatman stuff. I couldn't praise him more than I do. I just make fun of him for being goofy sometimes. And believe it or not, he does the same thing to me. Anytime I screw up, trust me, I get it from him. He gets to say I told you so. But anyway, I've got him with me. I have two guys formerly of graded 0.5. Mike and Xavier are going to be working with me on this. Xavier is the co-creator of Peregrine. He will be running the operations of the Reconstruction universe, so the universe that Peregrine is part of. He's in charge of that sandbox, basically. And of course he's gonna, be doing creative work with us as well. He and I are co-writing a mecha book together called The Argonauts that now we actually have a concept artist for. And then, of course, Mike is our editor-in-chief. He is handling EIC duties for the entire company. He's gonna keep the what's canon in line, making sure that that's always good, keeping people on their toes, doing business analytics for us, handling the money, things of that nature, things he's very good at. Mike is one of those buddies that he is one of those guys that I appreciate having around me because he can keep me accountable, and he does so in probably the most respectful manner that a friend can do. And he and Xavier have they're the kind of bros that you couldn't you're lucky if you ever find in your life. And then on top of that, they're good with business. They understand what they need to do, and they understand that now's their opportunity to do the things that they've always wanted to do. And so far, they are really realizing that the opportunity's there, and we're really in a position where we're gonna capitalize. After that, our social media manager is Serena. Some of you might know her as Miss Serena around the community. Serena is our social media manager, and, as many people know, she is my protege in regards to writing. And I will be taking over the editing duties on, there's my air compressor, on her next Black Rhapsody book. And I'm going to be, teaching her more about writing. I'm hoping to build her confidence in as a writer, so that she'll be interested in picking up more things and really branching out her repertoire. And on top of that, she's just really good with social media stuff. So, I really feel like, we've got a team that is just excellent at what they do. And we've got people that have pitched ideas to me that I'm interested in doing in the future. And I've let them know that. There's other people that are friends of mine in, that I've been on their shows, and stuff like that have also pitched, or they're being pitched to come in and write for us for certain books as well, that I'm really stoked about working with them. And if you're one of those people, seriously, I cannot wait for us to get started together. We're going to do fucking awesome stuff together. I'm excited. Like, this is what I mean about this, is that this was a bad year. But you can take what's left and still build a foundation on it from what you learned. So, on top of that, business wise, another thing worth mentioning is that we're starting the process of getting those hacked funds back. We've already got some of them. We're still ironing a few things out with PayPal to make sure that, we've got full access. We're not going to have any more issues. We've got all we need to present to the bank that money got funneled to, which, by the way, the bank that it got funneled to is very good about solving these sorts of problems, provided, you've got evidence of it. And we're going to get that money back pretty easily, I think, once we have all of our ducks in a row. It's just about getting them in a row. You ever try to put ducks in a row? Unless you're their mom, it ain't easy. But anyway, that was a bad joke. But because we're, getting that done, we could, see those campaigns that we want to get fulfilled during the winter. In which case, Xavier and I have already talked about it. I have room here in my apartment. I've got to actually clean up my living room right now to make some room. But I've also got room in my bedroom because my bedroom is huge, and I've got like my bed like off in the corner, and there's like all this fucking floor space where we can actually store stuff for a quick fulfillment weekend, where Xavier can drive up here from where he lives, and we can just bag, board, and prepare everything for shipping right here in my office because I've got my printer right here. You can hear me tap on it. I've got all of that. If I need to move my paint station and stuff like that out of the way to help with stuff, I can do that too. Like, I've got plenty of space to actually turn half of my apartment into a fulfillment center if I need to. Plus, there are other options on top of that, other people that we could work with to help us out with it. So, but with the fulfillment of those campaigns, beginning in the winter time, we can go ahead and get everything, the next set of books started. And then, of course, as you can see with this video right now, because it's back on my YouTube channel, we got it back, obviously. And not only that, the great thing to announce is that as of today, so December 24th, Christmas Eve, I got a heck of a Christmas gift in seeing that we had recovered those numbers. And now we're getting very close to 19,000 subscribers. And my goal is to just keep on growing it and growing it and growing it. I have a number of what I want to hit by the end of 2024. I'm going to keep it right here, though, and keep it right here. But I want to continue the growth. I think we can continue the growth. I'm pretty confident in it. And, I'm confident that we're going to grow everything. We're going to grow the comics, and we're going to grow all this other stuff. But how do we do it? Well, in the world of content creation, the main videos I want to do is I'm still going to focus on reviews. That means you're not going to get a bunch of videos from me during the week. I have come up with this idea for shorts that I want to do that will, be pretty neat. But the video reviews, 2 or 3, maybe 4 a month, will get done. And then on top of that, the other neat thing is, we're going to be able to have more fun with these reviews. So as the channel continues to grow, we'll also be able to devote more time to it. But regardless, I want to focus my content creation on discussing things, how to make things work. So talking about, good stories and what makes them good stories. Talk about bad stories and what makes them bad stories. Talk about how to fix them. That's something I'm really looking forward to, is doing like a how to fix thing. That's a big part of it. I'm of the opinion, and again, I'm not, I hope I don't sound like I'm trying to rain on anybody's parade. But for me personally, I don't think calling out somebody's political leanings is enough to really talk or to really show what is wrong with something. At least not on a technical level, if that makes any sense. Let me put it this way. Some people who do content creation discuss the cultural aspect of things. People call them culture warriors on kind of like right-wing channels, on left-wing areas of bread tubers, like that sort of thing. And both have groups that talk about, the arts. But the problem is that a lot of times they're looking at them from socio-political angles. Well, the problem with that, I don't remember what writer it was, but one writer said that I thought was really interesting is he said, the hyper-intellectual has no place in the arts. I thought that was a really interesting statement. And when he clarified what he meant, he basically said that the arts is not about, it's not about the logical socio-political ramifications of everything. It's about this. It's about your heart. It's about what you feel and how to convey that. And if those things are not conveyed well, that's where we're talking about technique. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in how the sausage is made, basically. You ever eaten bad sausage? When in that moment when I know I bring everything back to food. I'm fat. Leave me alone. But when you eat really bad food, all you think of is that bad taste in your mouth. I don't care why I got the bad food. I don't. Because it doesn't matter. Because I got bad food. And that pisses me off. So, I want to talk about what you need to do to fix the recipe. It's actually interesting. I was doing some cooking earlier. I was trying to make homemade caramel. I haven't gotten it right yet. And every time I make it, when I taste it, it's really bitter. And I'm like, well, I just melted like a cup of sugar. Like, how the fuck is this bitter? Because I burned it. I didn't do something right in the cooking process. And in situations like that, there's just this thing of like let's talk about how to fix it. That's what I want to focus on. So that's what the content of this channel is going to go going forward. I am going to attempt to not bring up someone's personal politics in criticizing their art. I'm simply going to point out what is wrong with it on a technical level. I don't care about why they did it, about their political motivations, their social motivations, or if they just had low blood sugar that day. I don't give a fuck. What I care about is the fact it was bad. And I care about putting stuff out there, putting content out there that shows people how it could be good. Simple enough, I would think. The second thing is focusing on service. The one thing I have noticed is that people are really liking the stuff I've been doing over those last 6 months. It started slow, but as it has gone on, more people are starting to pick up on what I'm putting down. And in doing so, that's why the sub count started going back up, why, videos were doing better. And even the videos that didn't get like a ton of hits, people who watched them enjoyed them and they had fun with it. And, at the end of the day, that's service. And that's another thing about this year is focusing on service. I feel because of mistakes that were made on my end, that service to my audience was not nearly as good as it could have been. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on, this next year especially, is service, service, service. A lot of people don't realize this, but content creation is a service industry just like everything else in entertainment is. This is the entertainment industry. It's what content creation is. And we all play for an audience. We all do. People like to act like even high art wasn't made for an audience. What do you think Shakespeare made? Julius Caesar was not done in front of nobody. It was made for an audience. And it's still done to this day in front of audiences. Movies are meant to be watched. Comics are meant to be read. Books are meant to be read. Video games are meant to be played. So on and so forth. Art is meant to be imbibed. Whether you're looking at it, you're hearing it, what have you. Well, yeah, if you're hearing it, like that poster right over there, or you're looking at it, you've got, posters and pages from my comics here. It's meant to be taken in on a consistent basis. And there's always an audience for it. And if you're creating it, you need to consider your audience. You have to make sure you're not making bad sausage. You know, you know, like your boy Zach always says, hot dogs. We make hot dogs, basically. Some people might get insulted by the idea that the fact that we make hot dogs, fucking get over yourself. You make hot dogs. It is what it is. If you enjoy doing it, take pleasure in that. Because if you don't, if you think that you're above your audience, you don't know what they'll be above doing? Giving you anything out of this. Finally, the big thing is focusing on fun. I want to do things that people enjoy, people are having fun with. So one thing that I am going to be doing a lot of is trying to figure out how to make things more fun. Make the videos better, more fun to watch. Make live streams more fun to watch. I'm going to try to bring back the podcast this year, in some form or fashion. Because a lot of people have fun with that. Things of that nature. And I really feel like there is there's a lot we can do. And I really feel like now's the time to do it. Now's the time to really knuckle down. And now's the time to get there. And we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to do fun stuff. We're all going to have fun together. We're going to make fun comic books. More Inglewood. More Peregrine. Yes. More Black Rhapsody. 3 Nights Part 2. And then new books. Human Shield. Starshine. Project Lazarus. The First Servant. My vampire book. There's probably others I'm forgetting. We want to do a Nighthound book. Nighthound was featured in Peregrine as well. The crossover between the Saint and Peregrine. All of these things we want to get done. And in doing so, I really feel like... and then the Argonauts, my Micah book that I'm doing with Xavier. When we get all of this done and we continue to bring forward our best efforts, we'll be able to really make something special out of all this. And again, I really feel like this was not a good year, but I very much believe that what we have learned, not just me, but everybody around me has learned from this year, this stuff is not going to happen again. And on top of that, we can build something off of a new foundation that is stronger than what was there before. So, thank you all so much for being part of my life as the audience, as fans. Man, God bless all of you, every single one. And I pray that this Christmas you have a merry one. You have great times with your family. And if there's nobody else, just know that I appreciate you. And I praise God for you in the audience every single day, because you guys are the reason I do this. And thank you for being my audience. And I hope to still be someone who entertains you for many more years to come. So on that note, I'm done being hokey. I'm going to go back to cooking. So, my name is Micah Curtis, your favorite vanilla gorilla. Thank you so much for a great year, despite all the insanity. And I will see you very, very soon.